everybody, and welcome to another episode of One Step at a Time. I am your host, Adrian Avila, and today I have the wonderful, lovely pleasure of introducing the other half of myself. You know, the one who compliments me, makes me look good, makes me feel good, makes me up on my feels. Sugey Piedra with Prominence, Business, Wealth Management. Welcome, Sugey. How you doing today?
Well, I'm a little scared, but other than that, I'm doing great today. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. It is my honor. Well, let the audience know. Give them a little snippet of who you are, and please don't just say I do tax.
He makes fun of me because I say I do tax, but I'm a little bit different. We're opposites, right? He's a little more social, flamboyant, and I'm a little more serious and geeky. But my name's Sugey, and my sisters and I, we co-founded Prominence Business, and I'm an enrolled agent. So what we do is we do tax planning, tax strategy. We help small business owners with all of their tax and financial needs. So we kind of just deep dive into the numbers a little bit more. So we do consulting and make sure that clients really understand where the business is going, the health of the business. And so what else can I say? I'm a mom. I have two amazing kids. My daughter's 18 and my son is 22. I'm the oldest of 5 sisters. And so I think that overall, I'm just like an old soul. So, I mean, I'm supposed to be responsible and all of that good stuff.
And all that good stuff. All right. Wow. Sue, tell us a little bit more about yourself. What are your hobbies?
Oh, gosh. What are my hobbies? I
Besides
don't know.
checking me out every morning.
I think some of my hobbies are probably just reading and researching. I do like to read a lot. I do like to, just explore different things as far as reading goes. But then I also love taking a drive and getting out of my space. I think that's the best way for me to get out of focusing on reading or, Googling something is when I'm driving, when I'm in the car. And so you'll catch me zoning away and, thinking of God only knows what or nothing, sometimes just clearing my head because I love getting, driving, hanging out at the beach, places where I can really get all those thoughts out of my head, process them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We took a random trip to Solving the other day.
Just for dinner.
on the flow, right?
On the fly. And, I'm grateful that you kind of go along with my craziness in a sense. I just wanted to get out, and Solving is 2.5, 3 hours away.
On a good day, 2 hours,
Yeah.
And not like
but
traffic.
It was fun. We went, we had dinner. The kids enjoyed it. They took a lot of pictures, and they, it's a little town that has a lot to see and a lot to offer. And we went for a little while, stood there for maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, and then we drove back. So
Yeah.
It was an all-day event just for a little time over there, but it was fun.
Good times, though. Good times. You were talking about how you're the oldest of 5, right?
Yes.
Founder of Prominence Business, Latina owned.
Yes.
Even though you don't like to say it, But, you always have you haven't always been into the tax field, right?
Right.
Before that, you loved fashion.
I did.
Right? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Gosh, my fashion years, huh? So, I think growing up, I was always told what to do, right? I'm the oldest. I had to help my mom take care of my sisters, help my mom start dinner, and we all had like our roles and our tasks and stuff like that we had to do in order to help my parents with the household. And, but I always found an escape through art. Like I would draw. I loved designing. I loved drawing. And again, I think those are the kind of things I need to get out of my overthinking, out of my, always feeling like there's something I have to do. And so I started drawing. I started just designing things for a class in school. And I found that there was more to it. It was peaceful. It was a place where I can really imagine things. What kind of stopped me from that was because I went into community college to learn fashion design. But one of my teachers had told me that the stuff that I was designing that couldn't be constructed. So she says, you need to take a seamstress class so you understand how to sew, so that when you design things, you know what the seamstress is going to have to go through to put something together. Well, when you look at Met Gala nowadays and you look at what everyone else is, in the Hollywood wearing, those were some of the things that I was trying to design, that I was putting together. But because this teacher told me it wasn't doable or that I was out of scope, I just put it down. I put it down and I said, I don't want to do this anymore. If I can't, again, imagine or draw what I was imagining, then I just didn't want to do it. And so I put it down and I went back to what everyone else said I should be doing, which was like law or accounting or something. But I do have a very passion for it and I'm good at it. So why not?
Yeah. I've seen your drawings before. So I could attest to it. And then, I remember talking to you about it, but how you started getting into like the financial part of it was at a young age, you pretty much ran the books for your parents, right? Paying the bills and everything. So.
It's, again, it's something that, I was introduced at a very young age. I remember being, 14 years old, maybe, balancing a checkbook for my parents, helping them pay bills, translating documents that no 14-year-old would ever, normally have to. But when you're a child of immigrants, and I know that there's plenty out there who are the oldest child, they know and they understand what I'm talking about. We had to translate documents that, we don't get taught that stuff in school. But my dad thought, okay, well, you know English, you go to school, you should know how to refinance a house. And I'm like, really, Dad? But that's the mentality behind it all. But again, that's what makes me so good now at what I do. And I'm able to help so many people. And that's because I know, a little bit of a lot of things. I may not be the expert in everything, but I know a little bit to be able to give guidance or to be able to find the resources that we need to be able to help the client. So it's definitely a tool that has come very handy. Maybe at the time I didn't think so, and I was probably mad at my dad for having me learn this stuff. But, at the end, it worked out.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
What do people misunderstand about you the most?
I think when you first started dating me, you probably remember. Everybody's like, she's so serious. Like, how can you be going out with her?
Challenge accepted.
I'm not serious. I have a great personality. I say so myself. No, I enjoy being around people, but yes, at first I do come across very serious. It's hard for me to break the ice in the beginning. I'm very reserved in that sense. And I think it's because I'm overthinking everything. Like, what do I say? And should I say this? Should I ask that?
You asked me if I was in space, and that's how we started talking.
The other real big thing is I forget people's names sometimes. And one of the tricks one of my coaches told me is always, say their name over and over back to them so that you can remember their name. And that has helped. But for a long time, I knew you were an acquaintance. I knew maybe I went to school with you or, I met you somewhere. I saw you at a networking event, but I couldn't place the name. And so then that would cause me to freeze and then not really want to engage, But little tricks that I've done and since then that have helped me a little bit to break the ice.
Gotcha. Oh, don't worry. Those questions are coming. That gets you all nervous. But, yeah. But I wouldn't say that because, you're the one who started flirting with me.
Oh, my goodness. That is not true, but we're not talking about that.
Oh, I can bring it up. It's my show. We'll talk about that another one or yet to come.
Oh,
I was joking. But, being a woman in a male-dominant field, in a white male-dominant field, has there ever been an insult in your industry towards you that you received and one more that you're proud of?
I think there was a lot in the beginning. I've been doing taxes for over 20 some years. And so in the beginning, yes, I was very young compared to the older white gentleman in the room. Okay, I would go to conferences, and the room was full of CPA men. Like, it was just men at every table, and then you would see me. So they would treat me like if I was an admin staff. They would say if I was a secretary, or you make comments like that, and I would just be like, no, I'm the enrolled agent, or I'm the preparer, or something, But most of the time back then, it was rare. I mean, in a room full of maybe say 100 people, you would have 5 women. Like, it was rare to see a female.
And out of those 5 women, it was just like you, the
and
Latina.
then Latina.
You, the Latina.
Definitely that would also stand out, But it also gave me that resilience, to be able to put up with other judgments, because judgments come from not just your own colleagues, but also sometimes clients. They come in thinking that, especially, when you have a client that is very well off or has a profession behind them, they come in knowing it all. And I'll be like, look, you know it all in your industry, but this is my industry. And so I've learned to kind of been able to defend myself in that way.
Jeez, girl.
But yeah.
Turn down the AC here because it's getting hot.
It is. But yeah, it's just, I have to not defend myself, but I have to put up that other persona who's strong and been able to stand behind that. But again, it didn't come, that's not how I always was. I was very insecure for a long time. It took me getting, I don't know how many certificates, a degree, I don't know how many classes I've taken in order to be like, okay, I think I know this, and being able to really stand behind my years of experience and my years of education in my industry.
Nice. And I know we talked about this with Dennis on a previous episode, that he went back to school. Mm-hmm. But he went back to school when he had his 3 little ones, a 4, 1, and a newborn. Mm-hmm. Right, Lupita? Dennis? Yeah. But you went back to school as well.
I did.
How old were your kids when you went back to school?
Oh, they were older now, because I graduated from University of Laverne in 2019. And all I needed was just the core classes of the accounting, because I had done all the general ed stuff before, but I never made the time to go back. Mm-hmm. So when I did go back, the kids still remember. Obviously, it hasn't been, what is it, 5? No, it's been 10 years now, right? I can't even add it. I'm an accountant.
19 was 5 years ago.
5 years ago. But the kids, and so they have always been very supportive of what mom is doing. And the one thing that I would always tell them is, focus in school, because I didn't have the opportunity to do so. Right. And now I want you to take advantage of the fact that, I'm here to support you and guide you and be there for you, mm-hmm. So that they could go to school and be able to, whatever their dream is, to go after it. So, and not have to put it on pause so many times like I did. It wasn't easy. It was late nights. Classes would start, I believe, at 6 and would end at 10, 2-3 times a week. And I would have to come home. They would be already in bed. Their dad was always about putting them to bed at 8 so they can be asleep by 8:30. And so I'd come home and they would be asleep already. So do homework. One of my younger sisters with Letty and Giselle, sometimes I would have study nights with them because I was going to school to get my degree. But not that I needed it, but I felt that I wanted it. I felt like it was something that I had put in the back burner. And it serves me in a sense when people ask me, oh, what kind of background do you have? I can now say that I have a bachelor's in accounting. But as far as my career goes and work, it didn't help that much.
It's just a piece of paper.
It's just a piece of paper that's on my wall. But, I think everything I've learned has been from experience. It's been hands-on. It's been learning with, working in different CPA firms and learning hands-on with other professionals. Yeah. But, it's experience and education that I don't regret. I like what I do.
I think you love what you do.
I do love it.
I don't think it's like you like it. You love what you do.
There's a passion there. I know for sure.
No, there is. I see, there's especially during the actual tax, what people call the tax season, right? Mm-hmm. And you're actually focused on it. And I see your creativity come out because you catch the small things, or not the small things, but you catch, I feel, the voids that other enrolled agents or other preparers miss.
Yeah.
And you articulate that back to the client to serve them better.
Yeah, and I mean, when you say things like that, I always go back and I say, look, I've had to explain taxes to my parents in a different language, translate it to somebody that doesn't have a full education background in another language. So I've had to figure out ways to make taxes, which are so complicated, make them so simple to translate so somebody else can understand, right? Mm-hmm. And so now the clients like that, because when they come see me, I take on this complex thing or this thing that they fear, and I turn around and be like, I got you. Like, don't worry, it's not that big of a deal. And they're like, but I've been dreading this. I've been losing sleep. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't. I got you, you know? Mm-hmm. And so then the thinking part of it, I think, it takes creativity. Just because I tell you there's strategies out there, they're all legal things that you can do, but there's so many different ways to put together a tax return. And in my industry, I feel that what is lacking is time. Most tax preparers out there prepare volume. And so in order to make a living, they've got to see hundreds of clients a day to make a living, to make a good living. And that takes time. And they they just overlook certain things that could have been done differently, but they don't care to do it because it takes time. And they don't have the time to get into those strategies. Mm-hmm. So when we started our business, we did something different, which is do the consultation with every tax return. So we give them 15, 30 minutes with every return that I get to review the numbers with them, consult with them, give them advice on some tips and changes that they can do for the future so that the return looks better for them.
Yeah. And yeah. I could see how your clients could benefit from that, especially with people I've sent over there and, they come out, they go in shaking and they come out freaking jumping with joy because you found something that other people were missing.
Yeah, there's been some good cases where I even amaze myself at the things that, I come up with, and I'm like, dude, you could do this and you can do this, and it's going to turn around in a significant amount of tax savings. Mm-hmm. And those are the really good ones that I'm like, that make me feel proud of what I do. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. No, and I applaud you for that because it's like you said, you're not just, whipping out a tax return right. and collecting a fee for it. You actually spend your time on it and make sure you're looking out for the client. But earlier you were talking about, lessons of life and everything. What's one of the biggest lessons that life has hit you with?
I think there's a few.
And how did that lesson make you better?
Gosh.
Yeah, I had to add that one. I know what you were going to go.
Dance around it?
Yeah, exactly.
I think there's a few. I mean, when we started the business, there was some challenges there that I have a lot of fear. I always felt like I needed another certificate, another something, right, to start the business. And Cruz started the business with me, my sister Cruz, and she was just like so fearless, and she's like, no, we're going to start the business now, and you have 30 days to quit your job. When you're the main breadwinner and you have a household and a mortgage and all this, like that was pretty scary of how am I going to make the bills next month if I start this business and all that other stuff. So when clients come to me and they have like a little side hustle and they don't know when they should start their business, I go back to those days and I explain to them how I did it or what's a good way to kind of look at your numbers to see if it's a good time for you to make the leap of faith. But, that was a big challenge for me, getting over that fear. And how did it benefit us? Well, shoot. I mean, we have a very successful business now, and it wasn't always easy as it is. It's easier now that I have more understanding. I had to do a lot of self-development, self-work. My mindset had to change. I had to get through a lot of limiting beliefs, things that I didn't know that were really existed inside of me, but yet they were preventing me from allowing the business to scale because it was me holding it back, not the business itself. Mm-hmm. And so, as you know, the business grows, the more attention sometimes it needs. And very controlling. I was very controlling about the business. I wanted to do it all because I felt that, so and so couldn't do it as good as me. Sending emails out, for example, is a big one. Clients would be like, emailing me, and then I'd be like, I'm going to email them back. But I get busy and I have clients. And so before you know it, I wouldn't email the client back, for a day or two. And the client's like, I'm just waiting for a response here. But I wanted to be the one to email them back. So little by little, those are the kind of things I had to let go of, which, Brisa, now that Brisa's part of the team, my other sister, Brisa, she took, processes. She made things different so that the office runs a lot smoother. There's things that, processes we have to follow and processes clients have to follow. And, Brisa, took a little while for Brisa to find her role. But once, she was able to explain to us that we were a little too controlling, the business flourished, and unfortunately, the death of Mario played a big part in me stepping away, because I needed to regroup. I needed to put myself together emotionally, the kids, and the business was not the main thing that I was focused on like I had been for so long. And again, with tragedy, this bloomed, and the business has been doing great. The business functions on its own in a different way that it didn't before. But it was my controlling habits.
Do you still have controlling habits?
I think so. I think I do. I should ask you that, right? But no, I think I do. It's still part of who I am in a sense, But now I'm able to recognize it. Now I'm able to address and be like, hey, I'm being a little too much and I should back off or be able to trust, because it does take trust. You have to trust your business, your partners, you have to trust the staff. So there's a lot of trust that you've got to rely on to make sure that somebody else is going to deliver what you want to deliver. So, yeah, to me, I think that's a big deal.
Just letting go, huh?
Letting go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
I love it. But, besides, taking the leap of faith and having Cruz tell you got 30 days to quit your job or anything, what's one of the other bigger risks you took?
Oh, my goodness. You're probably thinking of something very specific, and I don't know what you're thinking of. Like what?
I'm just asking.
That's another big risk I've taken.
What am I really asking?
I don't know. I think I take a risk every time I get on an airplane. You know how nervous I get when I get on an airplane. I travel quite a bit sometimes, and I kid you not, I shake, I'm sweaty, and I'm like, I can get through this. I can get through this. And I do it all the time.
How was the landing to New Mexico?
It's great. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I think I take different risks every day. So
yeah, I get it.
Unless you're thinking of something specific.
Oh no, dating me was a risk, I think, with a reward.
For sure.
No. But like you were talking about limiting beliefs and everything. So how did you find yourself once you got through your limiting, your biggest? You don't have to say what your limiting belief was, but once you recognized your biggest limiting belief,
yeah.
How finding that recognition? How did you find yourself again to believe you were able to overcome that limiting belief?
Again, trust, right? You have to trust the process. And I met this coach through networking, and I've had several coaches. Every year I try to have a coach that is going to be able to find, tame, be able to communicate with me how I need to mold this controlling person inside of me, right? So in the beginning, when I started first coaching, there were a lot of things that were pointed out that I disagreed with. I would fight tooth and nail about what the coach was telling me, because I felt that, she kept saying that the personal life drives the business life. And I'm like, there's no way. I know who I am in my business world. And when I'm at home, it's chaos, it's crazy, but there's no way, you know? And so she first started to point out things that made me realize that it was true. The stuff that was happening at home, I was bringing it to the office in one shape or form or another, right?
Mm-hmm.
How I communicated with clients and how I felt about certain things. And so little by little, pointing certain things out and me being able to work through a lot of it. And it had to do with my culture, do with me, being brought up by immigrants or my parents, and the way that I'm the oldest of the girls and all this other stuff, right? So she started like little by little peeling layers of things that I had gone through. And then we would tie it to how the business was doing and how my thought process was. And it was crazy, but it was true. So I had to trust the process about how to get through some of those limiting beliefs. Like the big one is always, money's hard to get, and money is a scarcity. But I grew up in a very humble upbringing, and my dad always was like so controlling about the money, or saying things like, it was hard to make money. And so I, of course, believe that to a certain extent. And so with the proper guidance and the coaching and all that, they would lead me to change my mentality, free my mindset of those beliefs. And before you know it, I can, not that I could manifest things, but things that I was manifesting, my vision boards, things that I was doing were coming to fruition. I was able to really see the fruit of all the hard work I was doing, and realizing that, opening up the business, opening up opening up to opportunities, and clients would flood in. And I was like, this is pretty cool. It was just me the whole time blocking with my energy all the opportunities in the business and all that other stuff. So I just have to say, you have to trust the process little by little. But I have to be thankful to all the coaches I've had. They have been able to break through some crazy barriers that I've had. And without them, I don't think me or the business would be where we're at today.
Yeah, coaching is a very essential thing. I
think it's a key component, and I really encourage, all business owners to look at it as an investment, to look at it as something that will allow you to grow the business.
Right.
That will allow you to make the business get to where it needs to get to a little quicker.
Right.
But you can't do that. It's not that you can't do it alone. I think it just takes a little longer to do it alone.
Yeah.
Than when you have guidance, or when you have someone looking from the outside, and then, being able to point things out that you don't see yourself.
Yeah. No, exactly. And it's just, I think you said it right. It's why, let me correct that a little bit. The coaching, I think if without coaches, we can't get to a certain level.
Yeah.
Right? You can't do it without sometimes that guidance.
I think it just takes longer, and it's harder, right? It's a harder path to take. Yeah, because, I first started reading a lot of books about self-development and all that other stuff. So I think eventually I would have figured some things out just, by reading like I was. But having a coach by your side is, I don't know, to me it was a game changer.
Right.
And I know that even till this day, obviously you and I take coachings and we do things together that make us understand and communicate better with one another. And so that is also allows me to communicate better with my staff, with my family, with pretty much anybody, because we understand that it's not about me, it's about them. Or, they may be going through something, or, whatever it is. And so I just have to understand that it's not me, it's them. And that has helped a lot.
That has helped a lot, let's just say, right? Needless to say with it.
Especially when we have family that is, or not just family, but clients or others, right? Our surroundings that are not used to that same language. Some people might think I'm crazy, or my kids think I'm crazy, right? Don't they? When I come up with, we have to manifest this, or we have to believe in that, or I bought a crystal, and this is going to bring good energy. And my daughter's like, here we go again with her craziness.
Your daughter's the candles. This is the candle.
But then when they want something, what do? Mom, you got to manifest this. I'm like, oh, now you believe in it.
Now you believe the crazy lady, huh?
But one of my biggest accomplishments with that is going to be Brisa. Brisa, fought me not fought me, but she just didn't believe in it. She'd be like, why are we doing these vision boards again? And I'm like, because it helps to have like our goals and all this other stuff. And so she would make fun of me. And then now you talk to her, and she was just talking to me yesterday about it. And she was telling Giselle, my younger sister, she goes, oh, we have to manifest you a new car because your car is like, going downhill. And I was like, what did you say? And she goes, I know, I sound like you.
It's rubbing off, huh? It's rubbing off.
But yeah, I think it helps to have a clear path and, just things like that.
Yeah. No, definitely. And especially doing like the coaching programs together, I think it's helped us too as a couple. So. And it just continues to be another tool in our box, right?
I really do believe so.
Because some days, I swear, I want to get that tractor and just 6 feet. No, let's go 12. I'm joking.
You're so mean. No, I think it has helped, but even with the kids, right? Like how I communicate with my son, how I communicate with my daughter, how I have to understand or feel kind of like what they're going through, right?
Right.
And they have their challenges, and like every parent out there who talks about maybe a challenging child or they're going through their teenage years or whatever, I can say I'm very lucky and blessed that I can communicate with them and make them see the rights and the wrongs and help them and guide them. So, but I think the coaching has definitely helped me with that.
Yeah, this is helping business, helps in the personal side too,
it
right?
Does too. For sure.
That's, and I can attest that because I mean, even the way I talk to my siblings now,
yeah,
I sometimes revert back to the old way, but it's typically the new and improved way.
But I think as you have now you recognize, right? It's kind of like how you were saying, am I still controlling? Yes, I am, but I recognize it now sometimes, and I can like either shift it a little bit and say, okay, I'm being too much. I have to allow and trust. So
yeah, and it's trust is a big thing, I think, for us and just the Latino community. It's like trust is a big thing with us.
Yeah, I mean, if you really think about, and I know that you say, like, I don't like to say that it's Latina owned or women owned, and it's not that I don't like to say it. It's I feel that I don't want to pinpoint myself to that category, right? Or say this is what I am or who I am in a sense. But it's something that I'm very proud of. Mm-hmm. And I feel that in any, humble community or immigrant communities, people get taken advantage of sometimes. And so who do you trust? And so I think that comes with that territory is that you're in a foreign place. You don't sometimes know the language. And there's people out there that will take advantage of you or your situation. And you put up these guards. You put up these barriers. So
100%. 100%. Well, you took a tour of McKinley.
I did.
Even though you hear all the stuff we do here, right? You still wanted be a passenger princess.
I wanted to be on the golf cart.
And you took a tour. What did you think about the campus and, as you were taking the tour, what was going through your mind?
It's an emotional part for me because I feel like I want to help everybody, right? There's so many things that this campus does for others, and how can I help the campus because they're doing something great? How can you help the organization?
But you actually did. You sponsored the women's conference.
We did the women's conference, and I think we did the computer when they were doing the giveaways. I think we bought a couple computers and stuff. Of course, but I think that, McKinley has done so much and it continues to do so much, and the construction they're doing and all the growth that they're doing, it's like they always need more, right? And the more that they get, the more they can help others that are in need. And so, these kids, it's like, I feel like they're just misunderstood, right? They need somebody to give them that chance. And being in a place like this just seems like, they're in a good place, and I wish I could do more.
Yeah. Maybe you can move here for a few. No, I'm joking.
No, I'm not going to move here, but yes. And originally, I think it was like only boys, right?
Boys, yeah.
Because I had asked if I could volunteer, and they had certain restrictions when it's a female, volunteer versus a male. But yeah, I mean, now, like you said, they have the women's conference they have now where they do help young ladies as well.
Yep. No, that's awesome.
So it's a great place, great organization.
Yep. And for those, who are tuning in and don't know, this is my boo-boo. She was like, do not introduce me as your boo thing. She's like, keep it professional. She's giving me all these parameters. I said, no. And look at her blush. Look at her blush.
Well, because again, here we go. I can't control this part.
Control. You see, we got to let it loose. We had to let it loose. No, but thank you for being an honorable guest of mine here.
Thank you for having me.
And, I enjoy our time here, and always being my number one advocate and my my supporter
for sure.
And always going with my craziness.
There's never a dull moment, for sure.
Yeah, but so again, and what's rubbing off on you? When I say I know. I caught it today as we were on. You're like, I know.
We gotta stop that.
We do. But again, you guys, thank you for tuning in on the One Step at a Time podcast. But really quick, I forgot. How can people find you?
Yes, you can always reach us or find us through social media. We are very active with Instagram, and so it's prominence.services, or our website, which is prominencebusiness.com.
And again, her sister Brisa is famous on there. Brisa que no tiene brisa.
Brisa que tiene prisa.
Oh, Brisa que tiene prisa. You can catch them on their reels, always giving out helpful information for individuals and small business owners, and even big business owners too.
Yeah.
So thank you again. Thank you again for tuning into our One Step at a Time podcast, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Catch you soon.